Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. In the last episode, we have discussed the death of Abdul Muttalib, how Abu Talib took care of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, their journey to Syria where they met Bahira the monk, and also the occupation that the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam embarked on with Khadija radiallahu anha. In this episode, we'll be speaking about his return when he came back from Syria. When the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam came back from Syria, Khadija saw there was a lot of goodness that happened to her money, more profits, more blessings than what she was used to at that time before the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Maysara was a very, very good man who was together with the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam treated him as his own brother. When Maysara came back with Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he informed Khadija that, "Oh Khadija, this man has a great sense of humility, humbleness, deep thought, high spirituality and high faith." So immediately she said, well, this is actually what I'm looking for, because prominent men of Quraysh came to her asking her for marriage, but she understood that all of them, they have their own advances and benefits that they wanted to get from her. Immediately she informed her friend known as Nafisa, the daughter of Mania, and then she went to break the message, or she broke the message to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When he heard that, he said, "No problem, I have agreed." And then he sent his uncles to meet the uncles of Khadija to discuss the issue of the marriage. Soon after that, the marriage was formalized, and the contract of the marriage happened between Banu Hashim, which is the tribe that the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam comes from, and also the head of the Mudars. After that, Khadija was together with the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Messenger never married any woman until Khadija passed away. She was the first woman that he married. For Khadija, Muhammad was not the first husband that she had. She was 40 years and Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was 25 years when the marriage happened. Khadija was the woman that had all the children of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. She was the one that gave birth, with the exception of Ibrahim, but she was the one that gave birth to Al-Qasim, Zainab, Ruqayya, Kulthum, Fatima, Abdullah, who was also known as Tayyib or also known as Tahir. Apart from Ibrahim, Ibrahim had a separate mother, but Khadija gave birth to all the others. All the sons of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam passed away in their childhood, and for his daughters, they embraced Islam. They accepted Islam with the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam in Medina al-Munawwara, and actually Fatima was the only one that actually was alive. She died 6 months after the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam passed away. When the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam was 35 years, Quraysh started rebuilding the Kaaba. This was because it was low in building, of white stones no more than 6.3 meters high. From the day of Ismail, it was also roofless, and it gave thieves easy access to its treasure that were inside the Kaaba. Even though at that time they used to keep their idols and issues that they worshipped that were totally abolished when Islam came. It was also exposed to the wearing factors of nature because the Kaaba was built a very long time ago. So that has weakened and cracked the walls of the Kaaba. 5 years before Prophethood, there was a great flood in Makkah that swept towards Al-Kaaba and almost demolished it. So Quraysh were obliged to rebuild it and safeguard the holiness and the position of the Kaaba because it's a sacred house. The chiefs of the Quraysh decided to use only money that was obtained from a permissible income, illicit money, to rebuild. So they didn't want to use money that came from usury, unjust practices, harlotry, and much, much more. They were all excluded. They were at first too scared to actually knock down the walls of Kaaba, but someone known as Al-Walid ibn Mughira al-Makhzum started the work, seeing that no harm had happened to him, because they know it's a sacred house of Allah, so they were scared. What if we start to destroy the Kaaba? Something may happen to us. So when they saw Al-Walid ibn Mughira al-Makhzumi, he did that. So all of them now, they shared the work of the Kaaba amongst different tribes. So each tribe was responsible for building a certain part of the Kaaba. The tribes collected the stones and started working. The man who laid the stones was a Roman mason known as Baqum. They were working in harmony, they were working as brothers, until it got to the point where the black stone needs to be properly placed. Now this caused a lot of problem amongst the chief. It lasted for almost around 5 to 6 days between them. They were contesting that who has the honor to place the stone in its position. There were a lot of dramas, and it also got to a point where bloodshed may seem impotent at that point. Luckily, the oldest among the chiefs of the Quraysh, who is known as Abu Umayyah ibn Mughira al-Makhzumi, he made a proposal which was accepted by all of them. He said, let him who enters this sanctuary first of all decide on the point where Hajarul Aswad, the black stone, will be placed. It was Allah's plan that the Messenger ﷺ will be the first to enter. On seeing the Messenger ﷺ, all the people on the scene cried with one voice. They said, here comes Al-Amin, the trustworthy has come. They said, we are content to abide by his decision. Whatever the Messenger ﷺ said, we are very happy to go with that decision. So the Messenger ﷺ, he asked for a mantle, which he spread on the ground and placed the stone on its center. Then he asked the representative of each of the different clans that they were together in building of the Kaaba, each of them to lift the stone all together. Allahu Akbar. When it reached the proper place, then the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ laid it in the proper position with his own hands. With his own hands. This was how a very difficult situation was eased, and also a danger was averted by the wisdom of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. My brothers, my sisters, in this episode we have discussed how the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam got married to Khadija, and the kids that she had for him, with the exception of Ibrahim, all of the boys passed away in their childhood. Fatima was the only one who passed away 6 months after the Messenger ﷺ also passed away. All his daughters accepted Islam, they migrated to Medina, and they passed away as well in Medina al-Munawwara. We've also discussed about the rebuilding of the Kaaba, how the Messenger ﷺ brought ease in an issue that will have divided the entire tribe of Quraysh, because it was issues that has to do with the sanctuary of the Kaaba. In the next episode, we'll be speaking about the Makkah and the Medina period, where we are going to start with the cave of Hira, and this is where the call of Islam started to expand, started to happen, the first root itself. Inshallah, see you in the next episode.